Chapter 2, Chemistry of Life. Section 2.2, Properties of Water. These slides correspond with pages 3, 4, and 5 of your current unit notes. Why discuss the properties of water in a biology class? Well, compare the body of the jellyfish with your own body. The jellyfish will die if it is removed from its water environment. However, you can live in the driest parts of Earth. Jellyfish and humans seem utterly unlike each other, and yet the bodies of both are made of cells. The chemical reactions of all living things take place in an aqueous environment. Water has several unique properties that make it one of the most important compounds found in living things. The objectives for Section 2.2. First, recognize the importance of hydrogen bonding. Second, explain why many compounds dissolve in water. And finally, compare acids and bases. Before we talk about the properties of water, let's review some details about the molecular structure of water. Remember, each of the two hydrogen atoms in a water molecule has one electron. Each hydrogen electron pairs up with an oxygen electron, resulting in two single covalent bonds in a water molecule. As we learned in Section 2.1, covalent bonds occur when electrons are shared. But in some molecules, the electrons are not shared equally. A water molecule is one such molecule that has this unequal sharing of electrons. The unequal sharing of electrons makes the water molecule polar. A polar molecule has a region with a slight positive charge and a region with a slight negative charge. Water is polar because there is an uneven distribution of electrons, meaning an unequal sharing of electrons, between the oxygen and each hydrogen atom. Notice in the diagram that it's the oxygen that has the partial negative charge and each hydrogen that has the partial positive charge for a water molecule. Be sure to pause the video so that you can get the information about polarity in your notes. So what is the cause of this uneven distribution? Well, before you try to answer this in your notes, let me explain. Now, with its greater positive charge, remember oxygen has 8 protons in its nucleus. The oxygen atom pulls the shared electrons more strongly than the hydrogen atoms because each hydrogen atom has only 1 proton. So the oxygen atom pulls the shared electrons toward its nucleus and away from the nucleus of the hydrogen atoms. So the oxygen side has a partial negative charge and the hydrogens have a partial positive charge. So what should you put in your notes for the cause of the uneven distribution of electrons? You should write the following. With its greater positive charge, the oxygen nucleus pulls the shared electrons toward its nucleus and away from the nuclei of each hydrogen atom. The partial positive and partial negative regions on a water molecule will attract other water molecules. This attraction between water molecules is called a hydrogen bond. It's these hydrogen bonds that give water its important properties. Take a close look at the diagram. The hydrogen atom on one water molecule is attracted to the oxygen atom on another water molecule. Your textbook discusses 3 properties of water that are related to hydrogen bonds. The first property of water is its high specific heat. It is the hydrogen bonds that result in water's high specific heat. It takes a lot of energy to raise the temperature of water because energy is needed to break the hydrogen bonds between the water molecules. Due to high specific heat, water resists changes in temperature. This is important in living cells. Chemical reactions in living cells will produce a great deal of heat. Water absorbs the heat, which helps to regulate temperatures. The cells are able to maintain stable temperatures. In other words, cell temperatures are regulated. Think homeostasis, the maintenance of a stable environment. Be sure to pause the video here to get all of the details about high specific heat in your notes. A second property related to hydrogen bonds is cohesion. Cohesion is an attraction between molecules of the same substance. Water is cohesive because water molecules are attracted to each other. Cohesion results in surface tension. This produces a kind of skin on the water. It is surface tension that keeps this spider from sinking. Pause the video to get all of the details about cohesion in your notes. A third property of water related to hydrogen bonds is adhesion. Adhesion is the attraction between molecules of different substances. Adhesion is responsible for the upward curve on the surface of the water in the graduated cylinder. This curve is called a meniscus and occurs because water molecules are attracted to the glass of the graduated cylinder. Be sure to pause the video to get details about adhesion in your notes. The properties of adhesion and cohesion result in capillary action, the tendency of water to rise in a thin tube. Capillary action allows water to be transported from the roots of plants to their leaves through tube-like vessels. Pause the video to write details about capillary action in your notes. Another important characteristic of water is that it is a good solvent. Many substances dissolve in the water in your body. Important materials, such as sugars and oxygen, cannot be transported from one part of an organism to another unless they are dissolved in water-based fluids, such as blood or plant sap. This diagram shows sodium chloride dissolving in water. When sodium chloride is dissolved in water, the polar water molecules are able to work their way in between the individual ions of the sodium chloride. The water molecules surround the negative chloride ions and positive sodium ions and pull them away into the solution. This process is called dissociation. Be sure to pause here and include definitions for the terms solution, solvent, and solute to your notes. Look in your textbook on page 44. Some compounds break up into ions when they dissolve in water. A water molecule can react to form ions, a hydrogen ion and a hydroxide ion. A solution's acidity or hydrogen ion concentration, is measured by the pH scale. Notice that the pH scale ranges from 0 to 14. At 7, the pH is considered to be neutral. The concentration of hydrogen ions and hydroxide ions is equal. Less than 7 on the pH scale is acidic. An acidic substance has more hydrogen ions than hydroxide ions. Greater than 7 is considered to be basic. There are more hydroxide ions than hydrogen ions. Notice in the diagram some of the everyday substances and their pHs. You can see from the diagram that the pH of human blood is considered 7.4. Make a notation in your notes to see figure 2.5 on page 45 of your textbook. An acid increases the concentration of hydrogen ions in a solution. The lower the pH, the stronger the acid. Bases are compounds that remove hydrogen ions from a solution. The higher the pH, the stronger the base. Most organisms, including humans, need to keep their pH within a very narrow range around neutral. Remember, neutral is pH of 7. One way pH is regulated in organisms is by substances called buffers. Buffers react with strong acids or bases to prevent sudden changes in pH. This is important for maintaining homeostasis. Just a small change in pH can disrupt cell processes, and a blood pH greater than 7.8 or less than 6.8 is deadly. So you can see that maintaining a stable pH is extremely important for an organism. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for section 2.2, Properties of Water.